George, recording
Yep.
started.
Brilliant. So thanks for that. I'm just going to share my screen. Okay. Okay, so good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a presentation on implementing 24/7 online support, assistance, and training with ClickLearn. My name is George Dourish, and I'm a business development consultant at QGate, a software company in Hampshire, and we specialise in CRM and additional third-party applications, such as IntelliCTI, Paribus, and of course, ClickLearn. And I would also like to just introduce Peter, who's a customer success manager from ClickLearn. Peter, if you'd like to just do a little introduction.
Well, thank you very much, George, and thank you all for joining the session.
Brilliant. So if I can just ask, not to tempt fate with technology, if we can input the questions into the Teams chat area so that we can go through them on completion of the initial presentation, that would be great. And we'll hopefully get time for a Q&A as well at the end. So we'll start this session by looking at a solution demonstration of ClickLearn that we have used here at QGate. I'll then hand over to Peter, who will discuss the content creation side of things, as well as a few other areas of the application itself. Then we will identify the common issues that are faced within the traditional support, assistance, training, and onboarding within the modern workplace, and how ClickLearn can help you overcome those challenges. We will then summarise with how ClickLearn has been used here at QGate and what you can do next. So to start with a statement, by using ClickLearn, we believe that well-supported and well-trained employees will deliver the expected return on investment on new systems faster. Now, the issue here is that when you look in detail at support and training today, there's so much room for improvement for the initial training, assistance, and ongoing development of your workforce. New and existing systems, which have the ability to revolutionise companies, aren't supported effectively because they don't understand how and why they're using it. And the blame with that lies with traditional systems in place not being consistent or up to date and easy to adopt. And we believe that ClickLearn can help solve this issue. So as we mentioned, ClickLearn can be applied to any software solution. And for today's session, I will now demonstrate within Dynamics 365, covering the portal overview, digital assistant, and the embedded. So today I'm going to demonstrate the output of ClickLearn within our CRM system we have here at QGate. And what you can see here is our Dynamics 365 CRM homepage. And the first thing I'm going to do is show you the main portal. And this can be accessed through the Help button in the top right corner of the navigation bar here. So clicking on this links directly to the main ClickLearn portal. And as you can see here, we have what is termed a shelf, which is the top level of the portal. And within it are a series of books. So we've got a series of a few books here. And within each book is a set of recordings which are grouped together logically. On this top level here, you also have a search function, and you can search for anything within the portal here. So for instance, if I search for accounts, and you can see within all of them books, all of the information relating to accounts pops up right there so that you can go straight to it. And likewise, at the bottom of the page, you have the contents list, and that's got the full contents of each book. So you can just go straight to it. It's a quick go to. And if we go into one of our books, you'll be able to see a set of recordings. So we've got a set of 4 recordings here. And if we go into one of those recordings, this will then take you to the process webpage. And the web page is laid out so that you've got a set of data, a set of instructions, and you can edit these however you like, with headings, subheadings, additional information, bookmarks, etc. And the process itself shows the list of instructions for that process and screenshots of the highlighted areas where you would click to perform the process. So I've got that just here. And different parts of the process are separated by subheadings, as you can see. And the processes are grouped together all around one screenshot. So here we've got 2 sets of instructions in and around one screenshot. And it's worth mentioning that the size of the screenshot as well, that can be manipulated. So if we just scroll down, we can see much the same in terms of the instructions and the screenshots. And if we just scroll down to the bottom, you can see we have a feedback section. And this is where you can get users to rate the materials themselves and comment. And you can also use this to get them to comment on the process itself and anything they change, and you can look to improve. And on the right-hand side, you may have seen we've got a few different options here. There's a set of additional materials, and it's important to know that these additional materials and the web page and the portal, they're all produced by a process based on one single recording, making it so much easier. So down here you have related references, and on the left and right you also have arrows allowing you to move through the different processes of the book logically. So we can go back to help with accounts or with help with competitors as well. And above the references, you have the downloads. So first we have a PDF download, which means you have a printable version of the content. So if I just open that, and as you can see, we have a PDF document with our very own QGate template, and it's got its contents, and very similar to the web page in its set out. You've got an overview, headings, subheadings, and then you've got them screenshots and the information in and around it. Similarly, we have the Word document option, and with this you can set up templates and you can add color pages and the basics information to the recording as well. So if I just open that. And similar to the PDF document in its layout, again, you've got the information, the document ID, author, it's all pre-generated as well. And going down, you've got that contents list and likewise the overview, and it's the same layout as the PDF document. And that's all from that one single recording. We also have the PowerPoint option. I'm not going to open that just because it is pretty much exactly the same in its layout in terms of its layout, but this can be really useful if you're training groups, and again this can be branded and it's ready to share as well. So I'm just going to go into help with competitors, and you may have noticed that above the downloads we have 3 different types of interactive videos here, and these are the show me, try me and test me videos. And I'm just going to click on the show me video first, and this will show you how to do the process. And what we hear when I open it is a digital voice that talks you through the process. Now, there are over 100 digital voices that are available to use through ClickLearn. So I'm just going to click this and just let it play through for a few seconds just to show you what it does.
Recording competitor details. Start by clicking on the Home button. From the Sales section, select Competitors. Use the New button to open a form. Enter as much information as possible about the competitor by completing the following fields: name, website, street 1, city.
And I'm just going to pause it there. And as you can see, it just takes you through nice and easy through the different steps of the process. And now if we click on the try me video, I'm just going to mute this when it pops up because we've already heard the digital voice. And this is similar, except you'll actually have to click through the process yourself. And as you click through, you're going to get to grips with where to click and what you have to do each time. And it's just going to tell you where to click. It's just going to pop up with that red rectangle box. This time, it's just a little bit more interactive and getting you, as the user, to do a little bit more. So there you have the options, and we're just going to click through the same process again, but it's just going to tell you where to click this time. The final video, which is probably my favorite video, is the test me video. If I just open that up and mute it again. And now what this does is it takes a little bit of the support away that the try me video has. And this time you need to remember how to do the process and where to click on the screen. So we'll just start it off, just clicking through. So as we start clicking through, we can remember a lot of it. So it's click on the home button, and then it's click on competitors, and everything's going great. And we're clicking in the right area. So it's asking us to input the information, following fields. It's asking for name, website, street 1. And now, for instance, it's asked me for city. But if I was thinking, no, this is where I'm going to put the information in, and I'm going to click in the wrong place a few times. And what it does, it highlights that red area. A red box appears over the area where I should have clicked with city. So if I make that adjustment, I click on city, and I continue with the process, clicking in the correct areas. And after you've clicked through to the end, you get a detailed evaluation. And now what this does, it gives you a percentage score, and it also details and breaks down in a point system where you might have gone wrong. So you can see I've got 92%, and where I went wrong was with City. I've got 0 out of 5, and that's because after 5 clicks, I clicked in the wrong place and had to highlight me, tell me where to go. And this is really good if you want to highlight the strong and weak areas to the user, and you can use it as an assessment to see how they're getting on with the process and the software. So that's essentially the portal. And what we're going to look at now is the digital assistant side of things. So if you navigate to any entity, so for instance, we're going to go to accounts. And then if we click on the ClickLearn help icon here, this will automatically open up the portal. But if we just go back to the dashboard, and it will also bring up, if you see here, the digital assistant. Now, if we click on that, we open up the assistant navigation window. And here you have a search function again. So you can search for information related to your query. So if, for instance, again, we search for accounts. And if you click on any of these processes, so we'll click on help with the basics, help with navigation. You get an overview of the relevant information, which is really useful, and you can read it and go through that. But if that's not quite enough, or you want more of an interactive experience, you can click on the Assist Me Now button. And this activates the live assistant within your instance. So once activated, this will then take us through the process step by step. We can move on using the arrows, and it tells us where to click following the assistant's instructions as well. Now, the good thing about this is that you can set it up so that the user has to put in certain information just to get them used to using the system as well. And it's likewise similar to the Show Me, but a little bit more personal as well. And it's just a helpful tool getting used to knowing the system as well. And that's just a very brief overview of our digital assistant. I'm just going to close the navigation window as well. Now, you also have the option to embed additional information into Dynamics, and we've done that there through our help and support function here. So we'll just load that. So, for example, we have an onboarding training platform here at QGate. So if we just click on that, it opens up the portal. And this can be used to introduce somebody who's completely new to the system, which may be set up slightly different to your main portal to account for the fact that they haven't used the system before. You can still use the additional content and just adapt it to meet the needs of the learner. And it's also worth mentioning that you can see here on the over icon in the top right that ClickLearn is set up to deal with all Microsoft UI languages, as well as 45 different languages for its digital voices. It translates the information using Google Translate, but you can upload any amendments if you do want to get the translation checked externally as well. So if we just go into one of these exercises. And as you can see here is the additional information, and it brings up a scenario that the user has to follow. And you can also embed tasks that they would have to do as well. So it's very similar in its setup, and you've got the screenshots again. And as I mentioned, the embedded tasks that they have to follow. And this is really good just to track their progress and see if they're making any real progress with the system itself instead of just clicking through. You can also embed information like we have here with our Paribus and our IntelliCTI support, which are for our own ISV solutions. So for example, if I click on our IntelliCTI support button, this just opens up. This gives us all of our information in terms of our IntelliCTI setup information right here, and you can just click through again. If you have super users, you may want a portal which supports them. And one of the advantages of ClickLearn is that you can lock down the portal, but you may only want super users to see. So we've done that here with our advanced help function. So if I click on that, and as you can see, it just brings up a username and a password. So you have only certain people within the company with them credentials will be able to access that information. So that's a very brief overview of the information around the portal overview, the digital assistant and the embedded portals. And I'm now going to pass over to Peter, who's going to talk to us about the content creation and a little bit about ClickLearn themselves. Peter?
Well, thank you very much, George. Just switch over to my screen. Well, I'm gonna, as George just said, walk through easily how we actually created all this, because as you've seen, George has used ClickLearn to create the learning portal here. So what do we need to create the material? Well, first of all, we need a business system. And in the honor of today, it will be in the CRM system. And then secondly, you need ClickLearn Studio. So ClickLearn Studio is a Click Once application. It's only the authors, the ones that are going to be creating the documentation and the training material, that will need ClickLearn Studio. There is no server integrations, there's no complex infrastructure needed. The only requirement we have is that you run it from a Windows OS. And as you saw, all the material that we present, the different learning formats that George just presented, they're all web-based. So that means that your audience can view this from any browser and any device that they desire. So it's only, again, the authors that need to download ClickLearn Studio. It's about 50 megabytes large. Now, the reason why we can do all this actually involves ourselves when we go in here to click on New to start a recording. Oh, no, sorry. Start a recording. Because here we get an overview of multiple icons. Now, all these icons represent a business-specific connector. And as you can see, we have a wide range of connectors for the dynamics, not just for customer engagement. So we can actually support the different processes within the different business systems that you have in Dynamics. But we're also what you can call a cross-platform application. That means that if you have a process that starts, for instance, in CE, but takes you into an Office application, well, then we can actually cover that too, because we have connectors for Office. That goes for both the on-prem versions, Windows application, it goes for the online web versions of it. And we actually support the entire Power Platform also. So if you have process takes into Power BI, or maybe you need to do something documented within a Canvas app or a model-driven app, well, then we can also follow that. And then we have two generic connectors that I like to point out, and that is the web application and the Windows applications. And this means that if you have systems that you need to do documentation with, or where your processes actually intervene with other applications, well, then we can still follow that because we have these generic connectors. But in this case here, we'll start it out on customer engagement. I get a list of languages, and exactly as George just mentioned, we of course cover all the different UL languages of Microsoft. So whatever language you would need to deliver documentation within, we can support that. These are the ones that are set up for my installation, and extremely easy for you to also set it up if you go in to start playing with ClickLearn. Now I started it on English, and as I click on English here, you will see that I get a little reminder, and as I click on that, the ClickLearn logo down here in the bottom actually disappears and goes into the background. It takes me to the business application, and I can now start recording the process that I need to do. The only thing that I need to be aware of is as I hover over the user interface, I get represented with this green rectangle. It indicates that ClickLearn understand here is a process that can be recorded, tasks that can be recorded. And all I do is that I just continue through the process as if we would do normally. ClickLearn will in the background record anything that I interact with. You might see in the upper right corner of my little logo here, I have in the green rectangle, I have the little icon of the Dynamics. Now, if I need to go outside the boundaries of this business system of CE, and I go down to the Windows application that are running in the bottom of the screen, it automatically switches over to Windows icon. This is because ClickLearn will automatically detect what system are you on and what connector is the most appropriate for the task at hand. So you don't have to worry about that as an author. All you do is follow the green rectangle, and ClickLearn takes care of it. And this goes for any drop-down menu, any context menu you go into. If you add text, if you delete text, well, ClickLearn actually captures all this. And I'm just going to stop the recording here, and we can call this edit an account for UG demo and save it. So now I have a source file here where you can see where I've stored it, etc. If I go to the view button, you will see that I don't have any material available yet. But if I hit produce, well, then these 7 different formats will be made available for me. So why do we create 7 formats? This is because ClickLearn, we believe that all the different end users that you have different ways of understanding and different ways of learning. So some are very visual. They just need a document like a HTML page or PDF and walk through the process. Other people, they like to have the teaching done for them. So you go into an auditorial training session or an internal meeting and you get the processes presented. Well, then here we have the PowerPoint presentation. And then there are the people that are very visual and auditive that want to have both of them available. So we get the show me video where you can have it narrated. You can see the process as it takes out and understand it that way. And of course, the kinesthetic people that want to try it out, and we really don't like letting loose in our business applications because sometimes they can mess up with valuable data. Well, then there we have the try me videos where you have that sandbox feeling to the solution because it looks like you're in the live system, but you cannot tamper with any valuable data. And of course, the certification that they understand it in the test me video. So that's why we create these 7 different formats. But to have a hand on 7 different formats and also editing it, that can be a hassle, but not with ClickLearn, because if I go to the editor, one place I do all the editing. And as soon as I'm done with it, I save it and then I can produce it. So in this case here, you can see that I have all the steps that I recorded on the left-hand side, and I have a preview pane on my right-hand side. So whatever I changed right now, I get a preview of it. So in this case here, I want to set up a chapter like George has done. That could be want to create one with objective. And I want to add a note in there. What could the objective be? So I'll put a note in here saying, manually written parts we add in here will also be captured and added into the video. And I can easily alter the voice. So I can either have the one that I'm using here, I'm using an American voice, or change the voice down here so I have one of the voices that George just presented to us. So you can even alter them on each point. So you can have a voice for each step that you go through if you desire that. But I'm pretty happy with the one that I have in here. Now I can also add in additional images. So again, if I go into my note and I want to add an image in here, well, then I can choose one that I have. That could be one from my, what do we have in here? That could be, we can take my little friend here. I'll take him over here, add him in there. So I'm not limited to the parts that I capture with ClickLearn. I actually can embed more pictures in here. That could also be a workflow diagram, anything that has to do with the process that I need to enrich it with. You can even add in hyperlinks. So if you have references to documents or videos that you have somewhere else, well, then those will also be made available through the hyperlinks. So that's how easy you can add more stuff to value to it. You can also alter some of the steps in here. So if you don't want to focus on one specific account, just to right click here, choose any role, ClickLearn will change the written instruction and the marking of the area of interest. And of course, make all the links in here available in the Try Me and the Test Me video. We also saw George show you how to group, that you could group the steps so you have a more tight process. Again, in here, ClickLearn, a couple of steps to just mark them up, add it to a group. You can choose a bullet list or a numbered list. And again, ClickLearn creates one group with one thumbnail with the marking of these 2 areas. And again, with the numbered list accordingly to it. So if you change them around, the numbered list will also update. So it's that easy for you to go in and add more value and edit it all. Now, you might even be in a position where you want, as George mentioned, to deliver this in multiple languages. Well, then we have the ability up here to just change the language. That could be, let's take this into German. Well, then all the instructional sentences will automatically, because they're coming from the template running in the background, they'll automatically change into German. But the part taken from the business system is still, that's the bolded part, is still taken from a English user interface. If I want to have this changed, all I do is that I simply just close it down here, say save it, code, yes. Save the, change the UI of my user, of my CRM system, do a replay, ClickLearn will automatically run through the process, recapture everything from the German interface, and then I have one process described in 2 different languages, and everything is updated that instantly. That also goes for all the voices because they automatically also change according to the language. So you have a voice that will narrate out anything that you put in there. So that's how fast you actually can deliver this in multiple languages. Now, you can of course store this anywhere that you want to, but we can also help you store that for you. So you can, if you hit the publish button here, it will be hosted on our content cloud. It's hosted by Microsoft Azure. You will get your own login to it. You decide what data center you have stored it in, but that gives you some additional features. For instance, some analytics. So in this case here, when we go in, we can add in tracking. We can add in the content federations that you saw George said before. We used put up a single sign-on or a specific user email accounts for accessing a specific portal that you created. But also gives us the feature of this dashboard where we can have an overview of everything. Because of course now we can see, well, which learning portals am I tracking at the moment? So I have my little help wheel up here. I have a view of where in the world have I been looking at the material. I even get a feature of the top books being looked at, and I can even go in here and see, well, what have they looked at? How many times did they downloaded my PowerPoint slides, etc. And we can deliver data all the way down to user level, so you can see, well, how did your end user B actually do in the test me video, and did they see the entire show me stuff after 10 seconds? George also mentioned that we had this feedback option that's also being collected in here, so you can shorten the distance between the end user and you as an author, so you can react upon it. So you don't have to go through the entire management layer before getting the feedback. And as George also showed, it was completely searchable. So the top searches also being captured in here. So you can easily see, well, what are they looking for? Have I provided this information for my end users? And then react upon it. So all in all, this was a quick run through of how you actually create all this documentation and how you can deliver this to your end users. And of course, if you want to know much more about that, I will gladly give you a complete demonstration of it and a deep dive into features. But George, what obstacles did you encounter on this? And actually, can you guide us through some of the obstacles that you overcome or the challenges you overcame?
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for that, Peter. So yeah, I'm as Peter mentioned, I'm now going to analyze some of the common issues around support, assistance, onboarding, and training, and have a look at how ClickLearn allows you to overcome all of these challenges. So after seeing the demonstration of ClickLearn, the ClickLearn platform, you can see that support and assistance can be made so much easier. On the left, we have the challenges of traditional support and assistance. So users can often be left frustrated. The knowledge isn't shared, which can leave the support teams repeating themselves. There's a reliance on specialists, and location and languages are often restricted, and it's expensive to cover 24/7. But ClickLearn has enabled us to overcome these challenges. It's user-enabled. The information is available immediately, and you can use keyword search to find relevant content, and there's no waiting time for a help desk to get back to you. The specialist knowledge is documented so that technical specialists only have to share their knowledge once. It can be used in multiple locations, and it's multilingual, and it can be accessed all over the world, and it's cost effective. The licenses are available on an affordable subscription model for standard content, with service days offered in batches for bespoke authoring and creation, and it's created from one process of a single recording. So again, on the left, we have the challenges of traditional onboarding and training. It can be labor intensive, there can be timely delivery lags, there's no consistency in the training, which can lead to Chinese whisper training. Limited knowledge is passed from user to user. There are often location and language restrictions. It can be expensive, and there's a lack of user engagement. And ClickLearn can help you resolve these issues as well. It's flexible and efficient. It keeps the users engaged, as seen with the Show Me, Try Me, and Test Me videos. It uses up-to-date documentation, and all the content is updated at once to all users, no matter where they are in the world. It's relevant and flexible to update minor changes as they happen. It's consistent and it's standardized. And again, two of the key points, it's multilingual and it's cost effective. So you've seen our embedded portal that shows that we can create support, assistance and training portals for a significantly wide range of applications. And to give you an idea, we have a few here which we've created support content for. And these include other business management solutions such as Infor CRM, Business Central and QuickBooks. It also includes web applications such as Google Chrome and Microsoft Edge based on Chromium. And I hope this just begins to give you a very basic idea on the wide range and potential of support and assistance which can be offered with ClickLearn. ClickLearn also has the ability to produce SCORM files, which are compatible with LMS systems. An LMS is a software application or web-based technology used to plan, implement, and assess a specific learning process, for those of you that weren't aware. It's a powerful platform for content creation, and this ability adds additional value to the software. And here at QGate, we've recently partnered with LMS 365 to take full advantage of this capability. So how can QGate help you with ClickLearn? ClickLearn can be consumed on a per user per month basis, taking advantage of generic pre-created content. It can be used for anybody who requires basic documentation. This can be produced easily and is so much faster than traditional methods. We provide authoring services to create bespoke content that mirrors your specific solution. We can offer support and training with regards to planning, preparing, and structuring your content. We offer a free proof of concept to highlight how ClickLearn can benefit you and your business. And this is done through one of our very own in-house ClickLearn experts here at QGate. And we can provide an LMS for all of your additional training needs with embedded ClickLearn content as it's required. So if you'd like to take a look at some examples yourself, you can do by visiting our website using the link or the QR code provided on the screen now. Or if you'd like to go one step further and you want to try it yourself, you can with our embedded assistance demo experience, which is also available on our website. So thanks for joining us today, and a big thank you to Peter as well. We hope you found the session of value and it's given you some ideas into the possibilities that are available with ClickLearn. If you have any questions and you haven't already, please do feel free to add them into the chat area. Or alternatively, you can visit the ClickLearn website or search QGate ClickLearn or email and contact us with the information provided on the screen now. And as long as we've got some time, I'd like to open the floor to any questions or feedback anybody has for Peter or myself.
There were two questions in the chat. One from Ricky McMahon. Do you want to ask the question? If you're still here.
Sorry, yes, still here. Just trying to work out to unmute myself. Are you able to have like different areas for different users when you kind of want to kind of spread the videos out to members of the team, different areas of the business, different departments?
I can actually answer that from Peter from ClickLearn here. Since you can create as many learning portals as you want to, you can actually create a learning portal for, let's say, you want one for the HR department where you have information that you want only them to have. Well, then you create a complete learning portal like you just seen here before, a shelf as we call them, for them and with the information that they need to, and then they can log into it and only they can see it. And therefore, you can also do for instance, the sales teams and one for the whatever other team you have. Or you can make them generic with a complete learning portal for everybody. So it's actually up to you how many learning portals you want and how you want them to be made available.
Perfect, thank you.
There's another question with regards to the licensing, which you kind of did cover, so I'm not sure if that's answered the question for Phil Croucher. How is ClickLearn licensed and how much does it cost?
That's actually a question for George because I'm in the customer care department. So I have nothing to do with pricing or licensing. Yeah. But maybe George, you can elaborate.
Yeah, so I think in terms of the subscription pricing, I know it has recently changed. I would say that the best thing to do for that, if I'm completely honest, is if you do check out on the ClickLearn website, they have got, I believe, Peter, correct me if I'm wrong, the pricing calculator, which is pretty easy to use in terms of how you add up the pricing. Just because it has changed sort of relatively recently, I don't want to answer from 100%, but I'll definitely get back to who's the question from. Sorry, is that from Phil?
Yeah, Phil.
Yeah,
That was my question. Yeah, I did have a quick look on the website. I couldn't see
Yeah.
anything on pricing there, but I wasn't. Is there
Okay.
a link to a calculator? Is there?
Yeah, what I'll do, I'll just try and get that up now. If Peter, if there's any more questions, and if not, I'll message you over the link, Phil, before the end of the session as well.
Brilliant. Thanks very much.
No problem.
Does anyone else have any questions with regards to ClickLearn? Okay, I think that just about covers it. Thank you very much, George and Peter. That was really good. Learned a lot about ClickLearn. The recording will be available on the YouTube channel. So if anyone wants to rewatch it or wants to send it on to anyone, you'll be able to see it there. We'll send out information as to when it's available. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers. Thank you.